Good morning, engineering students. We're continuing on with our reverse engineering unit. You get lessons in this class every other day, and each one has an assignment that goes along with it, and you have some time to do it. And I know these have due dates. They're just recommendations. You can hand things in late. If you need to get caught up over spring break, that's fine. But keep in mind that this is not spring break right now, so you're getting assignments in all your classes. So try to stay on top of those. Anyhow, in reverse engineering, that's where you try to understand why products were designed the way they were designed by looking at them, which is an interesting way of understanding design, is to instead study what was already designed. And so that's what you're going to do. Once again, you're going to be picking some products and analyzing them. But this is a little bit different. Here, you're analyzing its function, not its aesthetics. So the last couple assignments are basically like, what does this object look like? And now we don't really care about that at all. We want to care about the function. So you're going to choose a product and an actual real product. And it really helps if you own the product because you need to be able to hold it. You can choose something that's very simple. Like their example is a stapler. I think like an electric toothbrush is a good example. If it's too simple, like a pair of scissors, it's hard to do the assignment. So choose something that's a little bit more complicated than just a pair of scissors, but maybe like a hair dryer, a blender, a coffee maker, something like that. Pretty simple devices. All right, so you have to have the product name and the company's name. These should be real products with real companies. What's the purpose? What's the primary function of the object? It can have more than one function, like a cell phone, or it can have one function, like a toothbrush. Um, you're going to sketch a picture, and I know it's not a drawing unit, but I think this is a skill that we should keep practicing. I'm not going to be grading your ability to draw during this unit, so if you're struggling, don't worry about it too much. Mostly, we need a place for you to label the parts. So a sketch gives you a place to put labels. So draw big, use a blank piece of paper, but it's okay if you're I've forgotten a lot of the tips and tricks that you learned during Unit 2 because it's not a drawing unit. We're continuing to use drawing. All right. So you're gonna draw it and you're gonna label the parts. If you're not sure what something's called, just make a guess. Like you might know that the bristles of a toothbrush are called that, but if not, you can just call them the white things on the end of the toothbrush. That's fine. All right, so you're gonna make an educated guess how the product operates. Do not go on YouTube and look up how an electric toothbrush works. That's not the idea. I don't care if you're right or wrong. You're supposed to be trying to make an educated guess based on looking at the object and studying it. If you want to watch a video on how an electric toothbrush works after you're done with this assignment, yeah, sure, go ahead. But for now, don't. This is then we get into this whole like inputs and outputs. So you're going to make a chart like this and you're going to identify what are the inputs and outputs of the product. And there's an example of this. Make sure you look at the example in the notes first because most kids last year did this wrong because they sort of just guessed what an input was or what an output was. And you go through the lesson first. All right. And then finally, there may be things about the device that you're not sure because the mechanical components are hidden inside. That's okay. Like an electric toothbrush, you can't take it apart. Do not take apart your dad's laptop or whatever. Like you just if I know it might have screws, but that's okay. Just if they're hidden, you don't need to take it apart. Try to figure out how it works. Just identify what you can see on the outside, and then make let us know what you can't figure out because it's on the inside. All right, so let's go through this lesson, talk about reverse engineering, and then check out near the end, there is an example of this assignment being done. All right, so reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is a process of taking something apart, analyzing its working in details, usually with the intention of understanding its structure, function, and operation. So like when Apple sells a laptop, I guarantee you that Dell and HP and all those companies buy one and take it apart to try to learn what their competitors are doing and why. It's a big thing that happens in engineering to study how another company handled something. After a product has been selected, a non-destructive functional analysis is performed. So that means ideally you're going to take apart the phone or the laptop, try to understand how it works without breaking it. So you need to identify the purpose of the various components in the product, and then figure out how it functions, and then deal with the inputs and the outputs that the product can handle. Obviously, phones are way more complicated than this. We're starting simply with something like a pair of like a blender. Different companies make different blenders, and they all do the same thing. They all plug into a wall and spin some blades, but how they make those blades is different. And that may be important and something that you would want to study if you were a smoothie company. All right, so the electric toothbrush, I knew there was a reason I thought of electric toothbrushes. It's in the lesson. And so electric toothbrush purposes to clean gums and teeth and prevent teeth decay. Um, Inputs are water and cleaning paste. You could also touch the button on the toothbrush. That's an input right there. You can place the toothbrush on a charger. That's another input you can do. Um, Function. And so they're going through in there. This is a good example of a sketch that's been labeled. So yeah, like I said, it doesn't need to be perfectly straight. It's fine. You're just drawing a toothbrush to label it, and then you're coming up with theories of what you think some of the functions are. Okay, so the black box system model is that chart we were talking about, the inputs and output charts. And it's just kind of a way of just organizing a product and breaking down its inputs and outputs. The black box is used to represent the product's internal components or processes, which are deemed unknown at this point. So basically, you don't have to know how the product does this. You just have to know, like for instance, your phone. What's your input? You touch a button. What's the output? There's a picture. How does it do that? You don't need to know that. You just need to know that that's an input. You can touch the on an iPhone, you can actually click on the screen to take a picture, or you can click on the volume bar to take a picture. Those are your inputs, and your output is taking a picture. And you don't know what the product function is. That's fine for now. So for the toothbrush, your inputs, you can move your hand, you can use toothpaste, water, energy, you can touch the button. What does the toothbrush do? It makes sound, it makes heat. Um, Waste, I mean, I guess toothpaste waste. Sure, dirty toothpaste or whatever. And it cleans teeth and gums. All right, so here's their example of a stapler. And this is a Project Lead the Way actual lesson, so there's the link up there. But I put all the information on the slides. They labeled a lot. You could come with about half of these and it'd be fine. Notice the things they labeled. Some of them they're labeling material, like the rubber pad here, or the steel riser here, or the base plate. And then some of their labels are not materials. For instance, anti-jam design. They're, what material is that? It doesn't really say. So in my opinion, you're mostly labeling the parts and the materials. Obviously, you're going to be making a lot of guesses of the material. You might not know what type of metal it is, but you know the difference between metal and plastic. So make a guess. Don't try to guess what type of metal it is, but break it down, see what kind of materials it's made out of, metals and plastics, and what their function is. And then they have their explanation of how a toothbrush works. This is really long. Your explanation could probably be a lot shorter, and I'd be okay with it. Something this length is probably fine for even a toothbrush, like 5 sentences or so. They go through a lot of detail. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You can read the whole thing if you want to. It's in the actual original lesson, or you could just pause this video, I guess. I'm not going to read the whole thing. That's then just going to make the video really long and make a computer have a hard time uploading it. Um, Okay, so we have our chart here. This is referring to the stapler. So you can input staples, you can input force, it makes noise, it bends staples. There's more. Um, and then what can't they see? Well, they're apparently not sure what's causing the magazine to advance to another staple after each cycle, even with that huge long explanation. So you don't have to fully understand the object, and that's okay. You're just learning how to analyze products. And then ideally in this unit, we're going to get to take apart some things. We'll see, kind of depends on when class starts up. This is a tricky class to teach from home. Even with CADing, I'm looking into having us all move over to a CAD program that's a web browser that we could all use together over the weekend. I'm looking into that, and while I'm waiting for my answer on laptops. So keep up the good work, guys. Join in office hours if you are struggling with anything or just want to talk. And hopefully I'll see you all in May. Looking forward to it. All right, stay safe, everyone.